I thought, with Sue Bird coming in, at least this is someone that has been positive on Caitlin at times. And I think the issue with Sue Bird, though, is she has her hand kind of in so many things. And between with her podcast, where she tries to advocate for the players, but she's also an owner in the league. And now she's got the Team USA thing, and she's got all these connections and relationships she has to maintain. But at the end of the day, if it comes down to someone that went to UConn and someone that did not go to UConn, the UConn Mafia is going to stick together until proven otherwise.
Let's be completely honest. Team USA has created one of the biggest, most unnecessary problems women's basketball has ever seen. And the craziest part? It didn't have to happen at all. What should have been a smooth, exciting moment for the sport has turned into a situation everyone is watching like a slow-moving train wreck. According to several reports, Caitlin Clark, the most popular and influential name in women's basketball right now, has drawn a firm line. She has supposedly told officials she will walk away from Team USA if they try to force her to give up her signature jersey number. And behind closed doors, Sue Bird is scrambling to control the damage. But honestly, it might be too late. The situation is getting worse by the hour, and the consequences could reshape the sport's future. Here's the issue. Team USA apparently wants Caitlin Clark to switch from her famous number 22 to something else. That number isn't just a jersey to her. It's been part of her identity since she was 5 years old. Fans across the world instantly associate it with her. It's as connected to her image as 23 is to Michael Jordan. So when officials told her she couldn't wear it, she reportedly responded very clearly. If she can't keep her number, she's not showing up. No debate. No discussion. And now Sue Bird, the managing director of Team USA, is trying to figure out how things got so out of control. Her panic makes sense because this isn't some small paperwork mistake or a harmless misunderstanding. This is a real crisis. And it makes the entire program look either extremely unorganized or incredibly disrespectful. And neither option helps their reputation as the top women's basketball team in the world. So now the big question is for you. Would you quit a national team over a jersey number? Or do you think Caitlin Clark is going too far? I want to hear your honest take because this debate is only getting louder.
We haven't even made it to training camp yet. We have not even made it to the December 12th Women's USA Basketball training camp yet, and they are already disrespecting.
When you dig deeper into the situation, things become even more troubling because the claims being repeated everywhere start to fall apart the moment you ask for actual proof. The conversation about the league's supposed lack of profit has been pushed so aggressively and so confidently by major media platforms that many people never stop to question whether any of it is even real. For years, the public has been fed the same idea, that the league is unstable, unprofitable, struggling, and barely surviving. But what's striking is how these statements are consistently presented as if they are undeniable facts. Even though none of the outlets making these declarations offer transparent financial documents, official reports, or verifiable numbers that truly support what they're saying, they simply repeat the same narrative over and over, relying on the authority of their brand to make the audience believe it must be true. Take NBC Sports, for example. They didn't just casually mention financial concerns. They confidently stated that the league has a long history of being a shaky business running at a loss. They laid it out as if they had concrete proof right in front of them. Yet they offered nothing to back the claim. No data, no chart, no statement from the league, no financial breakdown, nothing. And still, because it came from a well-known media outlet, many people accepted it without hesitation. Bleacher Report followed the same pattern, repeating almost the exact same message with the same level of certainty, saying the league simply isn't profitable. Again, no research attached, no numbers included, just a strong sentence delivered confidently enough to sound believable. Sports Illustrated added to that chorus, making similar claims and contributing to an echo chamber where multiple sources appear to agree, even though none of them provide any real evidence. When different outlets repeat the same idea loudly enough, people start to think it must be based on facts. But in reality, these claims all stem from the same place, a complete absence of credible information. And that is the real issue here. Every one of these bold statements collapses the moment you ask for proof. These outlets do not present audited financial reports from the league, they don't cite verified sources, they don't show revenue or expense charts, and they don't include expert analysis backed by numbers. They simply drop dramatic declarations and move on, leaving the audience with the impression that something true and serious has been revealed. But a claim without evidence is just noise, especially when it is repeated with such confidence that it feels like an official conclusion. What's even more revealing is how coordinated this messaging feels. Even though these companies aren't publicly working together, the effect of their repetitive claims is the same as if they were. One outlet makes an unproven statement, another repeats it with slightly different wording, and then another repeats it again. Soon, it looks like a unified narrative supported by multiple independent sources. But when you strip away the names and look at the content, it's the same unverified idea being recycled again and again. There's no diversity in the information, no fresh data, no unique research, just the same assumption presented as fact. And because they all echo each other, people begin to trust the repetition more than the truth. This creates a powerful illusion. Instead of critically examining the league's financial situation, the audience receives a simplified story that has been polished and promoted so many times that it overshadows any nuanced or accurate discussion. The narrative becomes the league is failing simply because influential voices keep saying it is failing. But repeating a claim doesn't make it real. The lack of evidence becomes the most important detail, yet it's the part that gets ignored the most. The problem goes even deeper when you consider how the absence of evidence shapes public opinion. People assume that large media companies would never publish something without sources. They believe that journalists must have access to information the public doesn't see. So when the outlets speak in a tone of authority, the audience doesn't hesitate. They accept the statements as truth. But in this case, that trust is misplaced because the claims aren't supported by verifiable data. They rest entirely on assumption, speculation, and repetition. This pattern also affects the league's image. When major outlets repeatedly call something unprofitable, unstable, or failing, the public begins to view it negatively even if the reality is far more complex. This kind of messaging pushes people away from supporting the league, which ironically can harm its actual financial growth. It becomes a self-fulfilling cycle created by baseless commentary rather than real analysis. The negative tone reduces trust, which then reduces viewership, which then makes new investors hesitant. All because the public was convinced by claims that were never backed by evidence in the first place. If these outlets truly cared about accuracy, they could easily approach the story differently. They could interview economists, request official financial documents, or seek statements from league executives. They could compare revenue growth over the years, examine sponsorship trends, or explore how changes in media rights might affect profitability. But that requires work, nuance, and commitment to facts, something that sensational headlines do not. Sensational statements bring more clicks, more reactions, and more buzz than a detailed financial report ever could. And so the cycle continues. Dramatic claims are pushed forward, while actual evidence remains non-existent. This is why the public must be careful about blindly believing headlines. When multiple well-known platforms repeat the same dramatic story without proof, it's not a sign of accuracy. It's a sign of laziness and sensationalism. These claims were never about informed analysis. They were about painting a picture that sounded shocking enough to generate attention. And because these outlets hold influence, the picture they painted spread quickly, creating a distorted view of the league's financial health. When all these pieces come together, a clear truth emerges. The narrative about the league being unprofitable is not built on concrete information, but on repetition, assumption, and the authority of media brands that never bothered to show their homework. It's not journalism, it's a chain reaction of unsupported statements dressed up as fact. And until real numbers are shown, every one of those claims should be treated with skepticism.